Hey, what's going on, SWAC fans? It is yours truly, Tjay Jones, and thank you so much for checking out the State of the SWAC Podcast, where we break down some of the biggest matchups in SWAC football. I really do appreciate your time. Before we get started, I ask that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoy the content, and hopefully by the end, if you are new, you subscribe and hit that like button. But thank you all so much. We're going to be breaking down some of the key matchups across the board when it comes to SWAC football. This is week number 3. Week number 3 of SWAC play. Teams are starting to establish themselves, and we're starting to really figure out some of the things that teams do well and some of the things that they don't. But there aren't really too many matchups in week 3 that involve SWAC teams colliding. It's a lot of non-conference games taking place. You got Grambling taking on Florida Memorial. You got Arkansas Pine Bluff taking on Miles College. Florida A&M taking on West Florida. You got Prairie View taking on SMU. Texas Southern taking on Rice. You have Mississippi Valley State and Delta State. They're going to collide. Alcorn and McNeese. And you have Jackson State against Texas State. So a lot of non-conference games taking place. The only game that is involving the SWAC conference is Alabama A&M versus Southern. And, you got two teams right here trying to establish themselves. You got two teams, trying to find a way to get to that SWAC championship game. When it comes to Southern, they're trying to get on a winning track. They're trying to get their first win of the year. And when it comes to Alabama A&M, they're just trying to get a streak going. They got the win last week versus Lane, 51-13, and they did some things well. Week 1, looking at Alabama A&M, you're seeing a little bit of a struggle when it comes to that, but they managed to get on the winning track against Lane College, and now they take on a Southern University team, once again trying to look for their first win. And that's the game we're going to be breaking down on this episode. I mean, you have one team representing the SWAC West, which is the Southern Jaguars. And it is a lot of unconventional football taking place when it comes to Southern. Southern is a team that is known for offensive innovation. They're known for their really good wide receivers and really solid quarterback play. And not to mention the rotation that they have defensively. This season, I'm not seeing that, and it's unfortunate. You look at quarterback Harold Blood, who only has 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's completing about 55% of his passes, averaging about 5.3 yards a play. Look, in order for Southern to get back on the winning track, Harold Blood has got to play better. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I mean, some of the decision-making has been questionable throughout the time. Last week versus Jackson State, there were some decisions I really questioned. There were some things that he did, as far as like going through his progressions, and at times, he was kind of holding on to the ball a little bit too long for my liking. But I think that in order for Southern to get back to their winning ways, he has to play better. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, you got to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. You got Cassius Allen out there that's leading the team. You got Jalen Howard. He's out there. I mean, you got a bunch of really talented guys out there, man, and you got to make sure that you give these guys the ball. I mean, I mentioned Cassius Allen. He's the leading receiver for the Southern Jaguars. This guy's 6'4", 200 pounds. I mean, he's one of those guys you throw the ball up there and he's going to make a play. He's averaging about 20 yards per play. So that shows you right there the explosiveness of Cassius Allen. And Harold Blood has to get the ball into the hands of guys like Cassius Allen in order for them to get back on the winning track. And, there's still a great opportunity. I mean, you look at the teams around the SWAC West, it's like nobody's really establishing themselves as a dominant team. So Southern can definitely get themselves back on track if they, get their offense going. I mean, how about the running game here? I'm looking at these stats also. I mean, look, come on, man. Southern University is known for balanced football, explosive plays. I mean, this is not explosive football when you're talking about the Southern Jaguars. I mean, come on, man. Gary Quarles, 13 carries for 30 yards, 2.3 yard average. I mean, Harold Blood, him 1.2. Kobe Dillon, 2.2. I mean, come on, man. Southern is much better than this. So in order for them to be able to get this offense going, you have to have a balanced attack, getting the ball into the hands of the playmakers. And also defensively, man, what is going on here? I mean, a great rotation has always been a calling card of Southern Jaguars. I'm looking at across the board. You got a couple guys with a few sacks. You got Jalen Campbell out there with a half of a sack. You got Jelani Davis. He's out there with a sack. But, Southern has always been good at rotating guys in and being able to, keep guys fresh in order for them to be able to hunt. So I hope that Southern is able to get back on the winning track. I mean, they're 0-2 right now. But once again, you get a win today against Alabama A&M, and you're right back where you started. But it's not going to be easy. What you have with an Alabama A&M team is a team that's averaging about 30 points a game, 31 to be exact. And, it's a balanced attack here. You have a quarterback in Xavier Langford who is pretty accurate with the football. I mean, I'm very impressed with these stats here. He's completing about 63% of his passes, and he had a monster game last week. I think he completed about 70% of his passes, or over 70%. And that's exactly what you want. That tells you right there that he's making the right decisions. He's getting the ball into the hands of the playmakers. And if you look at the stats of the receiving corps, there's nobody that really stands out here. Cameron Young, he has 12 receptions on the year for 82 yards. But you also have Terrell Garner, who has 4 catches for 86 yards. And then you have a guy who is distributing the football to his playmakers. And not to mention a great balanced attack, because you got Ryan Morrow, who went over 150 yards last week versus Lane. The dude was an absolute monster out there, and he has 23 carries for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns. When you have a balanced attack like this, you can beat anybody, because if teams go out there and zero in on the running game and try to shut down Morrow, where you have Langford who can get the ball into the hands of the receivers, and also you have some guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. And you also have to be impressed with the defense of Alabama A&M, especially from Jordan Mitchell. I mean, he has 3 sacks on the year. The guy pretty much has been doing whatever he wants to the offensive line, manhandling these guys and getting to the quarterback. And if this guy can get hot against Southern, man, you got to be able to watch out. So the offensive line of Southern has definitely got to be ready for a guy like Jordan Mitchell. I mean, this guy has been red hot over the last couple of weeks, been having some monster games. So you got to find a way to try to neutralize this guy. He has 13 total tackles on the year, and he's looking to get more. In my opinion, if I'm a guessing man, I got Alabama A&M winning this football game. Look, I think that Alabama A&M has done some really good things. They're really well coached. We've known this over the years. We know what type of offense that they try to bring, and they're going to try to put up some points. And Southern, if they're not careful, they can find themselves being blown out by Alabama A&M. Now, I want to see Southern be able to get to the quarterback. You got to get Langford off his spot. I mean, he's not one of those guys that's looking to run, but he can scramble if necessary. He's looking to make plays in the pocket in order to throw the ball down the field. And you also got to be able to shut down Ryan Morrow, who can get hot. They're going to give the ball to Morrow, and they're going to try to run the football and try to establish the run. And if you cannot shut down the run, right? I mean, this guy's averaging 9 yards a carry. If you cannot shut down a run, it's going to be a long day, because you have an accurate quarterback in Langford who can go out there and get that ball to those playmakers. So Southern has to look out. I think it all depends on what you're going to see from Harold Blood. I think that Harold Blood has got to play better. And if he cannot play better, then Southern is going to have to be looking at another quarterback, looking at their backup, looking at Noah Bowden. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to have to figure this thing out, because the decision-making of Harold Blood is going to cost Southern some games here. I don't take any pride in saying that, but you got to play better. I mean, completing 55% of your passes, not making really good decisions when it comes to the quarterback play, and not utilizing these receivers who are long and physical and have speed. I mean, there's no excuse for Southern, to be in this situation. I know they had some tough games, Jackson State last week. I mean, you had some tough games, leading up to the season, but they have to figure it out. They got to figure it out. The way that Southern has been playing offensively, is a little bit of a head scratcher. But hopefully they can get back on track. Should be an interesting game. Southern versus Alabama A&M. Looking forward to breaking it down and seeing if Southern can get back on track or if Alabama A&M can continue the offensive efficiency between having a balanced attack of the run and the pass. But I would love to hear from you. What do you all think about your respective schools? What do you think about some of these SWAC games? A lot of games, like I said, non-conference games, a lot of games that, people look at, these schools going to these locations in order to get a payday. But how will your team fare out? And what do you think about Alabama A&M? And if you're a Southern fan, what do you think about Southern and how can they get back on the winning track? Comment down below. Like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the SWAC Podcast. You can check out the State of the SWAC Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And also you can follow yours truly on X at Tjay Jones 8. Till next time, all I got to say is, it's rough in the SWAC.